All right, on the bench today, out of a 2010 Chevy Express with a 6.0, we have the rear-wheel drive 6-speed transmission called a 6L90. All right, and we got 170,000 miles on this. We did have to tow it in, did not move. We did a code scan because there were way too many codes to list on the paper, so I just did a complete code scan and have it stored in the Snap-on scanner. So as I said, we towed this in because it did not move, and what we found was the cooler line had rotted through, kind of like right in the middle, and the fluid was dripping out, and they just kept driving it until basically it stopped moving. All right, so two reasons why this thing didn't move. Number one, there was probably no fluid in it. Number two, the fluid stinks, so we know the transmission is burnt out, probably from running it low on fluid. So we're going to open this up and see exactly what is burnt out. I'm sure the 4, 5, 6 clutch is going to be bad, probably the 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch also. I'm hoping the pump is going to be, we'll be able to use that. There was oil in the converter, but as we were moving the car around the lot with our pusher, you know, we would want to start it just for a couple of seconds just to get power steering, and we would see some, you know, drops on the ground. All right, so I think this is actually the first 6L90 that I'll be tearing down with you guys. I know I've done the 6L50 and I've done plenty of 6L80 stuff. Actually have a 6L80 on this bench I'm in the middle of doing, waiting for a computer and filter for that, so that I'm ready to put that together. U660 over there on that bench, a U140, and I got a few more to come out. So as I said, the cooler line was leaking, so this is the set, the new set of cooler lines, if you can see that. Okay, this goes into the transmission here, and then these go, of course, to the radiator. So the line, you know, like rotted through right here. One line did, but when you buy this, this is how you get it. So you just buy the set, you install the set, and certainly got to protect your investment. And you know, you got 2 new lines now, but it's, you know, considered just one. So this is it. When it's done, we'll be putting the lines on. We couldn't really flush the transmission out yet because the fluid would have been pouring out. So we have the van outside, but when it's almost ready, we'll push it in, we'll hook the new lines up, put the flusher machine on it, because sometimes these are pretty bad with these, you know, these 6L80s and 6L90s with the converters and stuff. So want to flush this thing out real good. All right. So I think that's it. So what I'll do is I'm going to get a little closer and we'll tear this down. Again, the fluid smells really bad, so we know something is burnt out in there. We'll see what when we get it open. And we'll just tear it down, see what we find. All right, so I will be right back and we'll get started. All right. So first let's get this extension housing off. All right, so we're going to knock the rear seal out. Actually started. So we'll just give it a couple of taps. Should come right out. Okay, rear seal. And we got our 15 millimeter. Okay, got a bushing here. Just make sure the bushing looks good. Okay, you got a seal here, which we're going to change. And we also have a case bushing. They're generally pretty good. Okay. Next thing we're going to do here is get the pan down and get the valve body out. Still some fluid coming out. Take a look at the pump on this thing too. You know, again, did not move at all. Let me take this thing out, I don't want to lose that. Let's take a look at the 6L80 pan versus the 6L90 pan. It's a little different. Here's the can. Fluid stinks. Filter. Okay. So here is the 6L90 pan. You can see the cutout there. And the 6L80 pan is really not so severe. You know, if you can maybe identify it quick, you can see it's not so, you know, like the 6L90. Whether like the cut-off corner, if you will. Rid of the filter. We'll also take a look at the valve body. Another way you can identify if it is a 6L80 or 90. Alright, so we're going to pull this tab up, just like your typical 6 speeds. See if we can get this down here, the sleeve. Okay, nice. Alright, got to get new seals for that in the overhaul kit. Alright, and then you have your special socket, the Torx Plus number 10. We got 6 bolts holding this valve body in. Okay, these valve body bolts are all the same. Okay, that's out. Alright. And it's freaking, but there's a burnt. I can see the drum on the outside is burnt. Okay, alright, so let's just put this aside for now, and I'll show you another way to identify 6L80 and 6L90 valve bodies if you know, say you had to get one and they kind of look the same. So I'll show you how to identify those. But for now, let's just move it over. All right, we're going to take these out. Okay. Ready? All right, now what I'm going to do is put the pan back on. 2 bolts, flip it on its pan, and take the belt housing off. We're going to get rid of some of the soil. All right, so I want to get rid of the oil, do that. All right, so I'll be back in a few minutes with it standing on its pan. We'll pull the bell housing off and pull the gear train out. Okay. Get this O-ring off with the lockup. Okay. Now we're going to get these bolts out for the pump, 15 millimeters. Okay. And these are longer than the bolts for the extension housing. So it's an easy way to get it so you don't get it mixed up. Okay. Metal housing stator. We'll open this up. Hoping the pump is going to be good. All right, this room is going to be burnt. Yeah, the 1, 2, 3, 4 clutches are burnt. All right, here's the planet, which is going to go here. 4, 5, 6, I'm sure is burnt. Probably the hub is attached to it. And it is. All right, so let's get this planet set out from here. Okay. And we're going to get the bearing, and we're going to get the washer, which actually is still good. All right, we'll put this aside. I'll get this whole thing apart. We're going to need the snap ring, pressure plate, whole thing for this. The drum, probably I could save the drum, but I might even need the hub. Gotta check your fluid level. This even has a dipstick. All right, this I can clean up and wire wheel it. And you got a bearing here. Okay, another bearing here. There's a bearing on this side, but it actually goes there. Okay. Now I'm going to flip this back on its side. Take the panel. Get the big pliers and get that big snap ring out. Now. All right, so now we have this huge old snap ring. And for that, you need the big pliers here. Let's see if we can get this thing moving, and I can always get it out with a pry bar or something. All right, well, we got it. Now let's just continue. Go. All right, now we got to get this center support out. Even those 2 6 clutches look like they're burnt. Okay, nice. I'll reverse here. All right, planet set. Get the bearing out here, and the case is empty. All right, actually I want to talk about this thing here for a second, but I want to get this planet out. So the easy way that I do that, pop the snap ring out and take one of the ring gears off. All right, let me just move this down a little bit. Okay. Let's try to pop this snap ring out. Okay. still going to clean all that up in there. Take this out. Snap ring. Okay, so this bearing, all right, has a lip on it. All right, and it kind of looks like it can really fit either way. So I think actually and here, you know, it may seem like it can go, the lip can go this way, but this is wrong, okay, because I am hitting the bushing here, and this bearing is not seating correctly, so when you go to put the bell housing on, you're going to have a space like this, and it's not going to sit flat. This has to sit flat before you can tighten the bolts. So this lip on this bearing faces in on this planet set like that. That's the correct way it goes. I mean, the difference is so little, you can make the mistake. So just make note of that on all of them. 6L90, 6L80, 6L50. Okay. So we got this transmission torn down, chunked down I should say. Now I'm going to get the case out of there, get rid of the oil, and then we'll start taking a look at the clutch packs, take a look at the pump, and then we'll look at the valve bodies, and I'll show you how you can ID valve bodies just by looking at it. All right, so give me a few, I'll be right back. All right, so let's open up this pump, see what we got. Spraying is good, but let's see. If not, I get a machine set, bell housing and stator, and swap everything over. Okay, I think we're looking good. Very nice. Let me just get this here. I want to just lay my bolts on a different. Let me just get these bolts over here. I want to move them. Okay, all right. So here's our centering ring. And we'll get the vanes out. Yeah, this pump looks good. Let's see what the other side looks like. Very nice. Okay, very nice. All right, so here's the other center ring. Here is the washer. This here, there. Drop the vane. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take the slide out. Pop the spring up. Make sure that doesn't go in. It is. We'll get the slide out because I want to make sure that's in good shape, which it should be. Right, the slide seals. Pivot pin with spring. Okay, this looks good. You also have seals back here also. Okay, that looks good. We'll turn this over, and there is a snap ring that we're going to see if we can pop this snap ring out. Pulls the front seal in. Okay, there it is. And then that seal will come right out. Right here is the front seal. Okay, so I'm going to flat sand this, wash it over the back, And we're also going to take a look at the pressure regulator, which is going to be changed. I used the Transgo upgrade. And we'll see what that looks like. So we'll push this in, get the pin out. Okay, get the boost out. Here we go. Okay, this valve is worn. Wow, big time. Okay, so if you can see this, there's like a actual step right here. This is all worn out, and this is, oops, sorry. This is all worn out here. There's an actual step there, and this. So this is totally shot. That will be again replaced with the Transgo, and then you have your rings. All right, so as far as these rings go here on these transmissions, this is a later one. Where's my scribe? Because this has the non-rotational rings. Okay. So we'll take this off. This has the non-rotational. They say you should upgrade if it comes with the early start, because it could cause flared shifts. And then you have the ring expander underneath this, which is just an O-ring on there's 3 of them. Okay, so they're going to come in the banner kit. Although this one, who knows, might have to be a master kit. Okay. All right, so let's see. We got the 2.6 clutch here. Okay, oh, the seals are good. All right, 2.6 clutch. And we have a bearing. I'm going to keep that. All right, the low reverse. And clutches are dark, but seals are okay. So that's good. And you got your spray. If you're gonna change this piston, you know, you're really not supposed to press down here with your press. I found something that is the same size as this, and I put this on, and then I put that piece on, and I have a foot press. Then I put a long rod across it and push it down. And because it says do not pry in this area, so I use this here. Okay. So next we got the 3.5 reverse. And remember, when you put these snap rings in, it has a blind spot, so you want to put the opening of the snap ring there. All right, so this one is here, and the other one I believe is 180 degrees apart. But you got to look for it, because as soon as this clutch applies, boom, snap ring's going to pop out, and you're going to lose reverse, so you got to watch that. All right, steels aren't too bad, but clutches are bad. Right here is the apply for the 3.5 reverse. Clean that up. And now, all right, so I left this here. All right, so this is the 3.5 reverse is here, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, again, is 180 degrees apart. So the opening has to go in that blind spot. Very careful, you gotta remember. These are shot, clutches and steels. Terrible. And I want to make sure this has the updated piston, the 1, 2, 3, 4 piston that likes to crack. That says, the updated one says Gibbs, G-I-B-B-S, on it. If it doesn't say that, it's probably not updated. Okay. 4, 5, 6. Let me reposition to the hole in the bench here. Let me get rid of this bell housing. And we'll take a look at that, and then we'll take a look at the valve body. So I'm going to just reposition 1 second. Okie dokie. Snap ring I'm going to need. This probably got so hot that I don't think I'm going to want to use this over frozen on here. Alright, so we have our wave steel, it still looks good, but we need the 4, 5, 6 steels. And the drum. Yeah, the drum I can probably clean up. I've seen them bad like this before. So I'll clean that up, but I want to get these off. Pressure plate will still be good, but I'll check and make sure it's flat. But I want to get these off to see if I have to get another hub or if I can just clean the hub. This hub I can clean. And these are frozen together. You know, I'm really surprised. If this would have had oil in it, this thing would have moved forward in all ranges because these things are frozen and locked together. So I'm going to need the 1, 2, 3, 4 steels and the 4, 5, 6 steels. Which when these things run low on fluid, that's normally what they need. Okay. Now, I want to have a clean surface. We're going to bring the valve body up, and I'm going to bring my other valve on my 6L80 valve body, which is already cleaned and overhauled. Like I said, I'm just waiting for the computer. And I'm going to be putting that together anyway, up to the bell housing. And then once I get the computer, I just install the computer onto the valve body, put it in, and in the car it goes. So, let me just clean up here a little bit, this area, and I'm going to bring the valve bodies up, and we'll finish up the video. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the 6L90 valve body out of the transmission we just torn down, and I have the 6L80 that's on the other bench that I'm rebuilding. I'm actually just waiting for a Techum, but everything else is done. I'm going to load everything into the case. All right, so I'm going to show you how you can tell what valve body you have just by looking at the valve body. Because if you wanted to order one of these online, or whatever the case may be, you want to make sure you get the right one. All right, and there's a way you can identify it just by looking at the valve body. Okay, so let me just use this one as the example. This way we don't leak any oil all over the place. Okay, so we got raised area. We got A, B, C, and D, and E is up here. I've never seen that ground down, but anyway, we got A, B, C, and D. So this is a 6L80 valve body, so you see the C is ground down. 6L50, you would have the B ground down. 6L90, you'll have the D ground down. That's how you can tell what valve body you have, okay? So we're gonna take a look at that one. All right, so this is a 6L80, and you'll see the C is ground down. Right, now we're going to take a look at the 6L90. Okay, and you can see the D is ground down and the C is not. All right, right here. So that's how you can tell the difference with these valve bodies. Quick, quick ID guide just by looking at it. It'll tell you what it is. All right, so I guess that is about it for this 2010 Chevy Express 3500, I believe it's a 3500, with a 6-liter 6L90 transmission. Burnt out because the cooler line rotted out, leaking, and they just kept driving the car. And burnt out the 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch, the 4, 5, 6 clutch, but also there was no oil in it and the car did not move, so we towed it in. All right, so I'm gonna finish breaking everything down, clean it up, and then I'll get my banner kit and stuff. I'll order a banner kit and get going with this. And also the 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch piston, I want to make sure it says, I put this one together, I would show you. It says if it's the updated piston, it says Gibbs, G-I-B-B-S. If it says that, you can put it back. All right, if this one doesn't say that, I'm going to get the piston and put the updated piston in. because those 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch pistons like to crack. You saw how worn out, way worn out, this valve is. I mean, there's a huge step right here. You know, it should be flat, just like this one. This is worn out too, but this is bad. So that's going to be updated. And do the typical, you know, batter kit, steels that I need, the Tecum. And these are nice transmissions to work on. Also the valve body, I do the O-ring end plug kit on the valves that have the plugs. I'm going to make sure all the valves are free, the clutch select valves, pressure valves, make sure everything is free, and that'll be good to go. All right, so I thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and we will see you next one.